All right, so this is a really interesting question. Prednisone warrior Diane said, so what's up if you have most of these side effects but never took prednisone? All right, if you have these side effects of prednisone but you've never taken prednisone, that's because prednisone is mimicking our body's naturally occurring hormone called cortisol. And cortisol was designed by Mother Nature to save our lives from stress. So if you have a lot of stress in your life, say you're going through a divorce, you've recently experienced a death in the family, you have depression, you've got financial troubles, you're in a place where you don't have access to food or homelessness, things that are very, very stressful. If you're dealing with that, then your body copes with all that stress by raising your cortisol. And it's a miracle that Mother Nature has this to keep us alive. It's originally designed to save our species from extinction, right? Mother Nature wants somebody to continue to live to pass on the genes. And so it does whatever it can to keep you alive. And it's doing that at a cost, right? The cost is using up your bank account, your body's bank account that you've been saving up over time. You've been saving up bone mass and muscle mass. You've been saving up nutrients in your liver, your glycogen storage of sugars. All of this energy you've been compiling, like money being saved in a bank. Mother Nature intends for us to be saving this up so that, let's just think of like a year in the life of someone who lived more than 200 years ago, right? In the summertime, the spring and summer, they would plant their crops. And then in the fall, they would have a lot of food, right? They would harvest that crop and they'd have a lot of food and they would gain weight. They get a little belly for the winter. And then as the winter turned into spring and it was getting time to plant again, they were running out of food. And this happened every year. You have enough to eat fall and early winter, and then late winter, early spring, you run out of food because there's nothing available to forage. All of the things you saved up in the fall are running low. And so it makes sense that Mother Nature wanted us to get through those cold, dark periods of life, whether it was a short spring without food or it's a war where you're running for your life and you just got to get to the next place where you're going to be safe until you can eat. Mother Nature wanted you to survive those really hard times when there was little amounts of food, a lot of danger. And so she makes us do things that don't make sense in our day and age when there's plenty of food to go around for the most part. Generally, if you have the internet ability to be watching me, then you probably have food because most people don't pay for internet service before they pay for food. And so, why would you have these side effects if you're not taking prednisone? Because your body is coping in the natural way that it does with stress by increasing cortisol, which then leads to the following cascade of events. So, this is the same thing as if you took prednisone, you'd have these as side effects. But for somebody who's not taking prednisone, what is just having high cortisol to deal with the coping with stress, these are the things you can look forward to or dread. Your body needs you to be able to run away, right? So it's going to take these sugars, this glycogen storage in your liver and in your muscles, and these chains of glucose that you've been building over time, and it will release them. And you will suddenly have all this sugar floating around in your blood. So that you have the energy to run away. You're in that war, you've got to get away and get to safety. Now you have all of this energy, this money to spend to get away. And so now you have high blood sugar. The problem is most of us don't actually need to run physically away. And so we don't use up the extra sugars that is floating around in our blood. So we have high blood sugar and we're not spending it. It's just there. So if you think of your blood as if it was just a liquid, what happens when you add a lot of sugar to a liquid? Think of honey. Honey is a lot of sugar in a liquid. Does that honey pump very well? No. It's thick, it's viscous. Essentially, when you have high blood sugar, you're turning your blood into honey. You're making it thick. You're making it hard to pump. You make it so the little teeny tiny blood vessels on your fingers and in your eyes and in your kidneys might break because you're putting so much pressure on them with this thick liquid that now you're having neuropathy. That's what it's called, where your nerves are having issues because the blood vessels are breaking. People who have diabetes might end up with blindness because those little tiny blood vessels in their eyeballs can break. Or they might have kidney failure because the little teeny tiny blood vessels in their kidneys can't handle honey being pumped through them. So that's the first consequence, is your heart is having to beat harder to get this thick liquid pushed through. So then that sugar has to go somewhere. So when you have extra sugar floating around, it can attach to other things and become advanced glycation end products. Like it can just attach this little sugar molecule to other things, and that can be harmful to them. It makes you age faster. Advanced glycation end products. Ages, AGE, ages. You age faster because of these things. Then you are depleting your muscles, right? So now your muscle mass is less. All of the nutrients you have stored in your muscles have gone down. So you have weaker muscles, sarcopenia, myopathy, loss of muscles. The stereotypical person on prednisone has a big round face, big round belly, and really skinny arms and legs because the body is taking the storage from the arms and legs and using it just to survive. So that was the first thing, is that prednisone and cortisol are glucocorticoids, changing the way our body uses glucose. And the complications just keep going. The next thing your body is doing is changing your brain. Because again, the idea here is survival. Get me out of this mess. That's what Mother Nature wants you to do. Just get out to survive. So if you are being chased in a war zone, Mother Nature doesn't want you to fall asleep on the job. So she's going to make it so that your brain doesn't have as much sleep drive. They tested just one dose of dexamethasone, it's another steroid like prednisone, to see what would happen to the metabolism and to the sleep-wake cycle. And they found that it completely dysregulated your sleep-wake cycle. That just one dose was enough to turn off your ability to make melatonin as well as it used to. Which makes perfect sense if you are up in a tree hiding from a predator, whether it's human or animal. You don't want to fall asleep and fall into the grasp of your predator, right? You want to be able to stay vigilant and to protect yourself. So that gets dysregulated and completely messed up. Back to that study, they tested 250 different markers of the metabolism. More than half of them were dysregulated, were changed by the prednisone or by the cortisol from the high stress. So this typical stressed out American will be like the person on prednisone with a big belly, shrunken arms or legs, but not necessarily as shrunken, right? And trouble sleeping. And then back to the sugar, because you are in this war zone, you don't necessarily have time, likely, to sit there and wait for beans to cook or to grind up the corn or whatever long-term meal prep that you would normally do. Mother Nature is making you preferentially want things you can eat quickly and will give you a short-term burst. She wants you to go straight for the high carb, high fat, just get me through this moment foods. Basically, Mother Nature, when you have high stress, high cortisol, or you're taking prednisone or another steroid, makes you want to eat Oreos. It's making your body crave the things that are going to help you survive this moment, but doesn't care about long term. That while you have this moment of stress, that if there's a chance that the species is going to die, I don't care about long-term building projects, right? Like, we need to just get through this moment. So the body turns off other things that might be important to you long term, but we don't have the money to spend on them. Your bone strength doesn't care if you're getting osteoporosis. If you're not going to have the time to live long enough to break those bones, right? Turns off your reproductive system. No point in getting pregnant and having to spend tens of thousands of calories supporting that baby when you don't have enough calories to support your own body. So don't worry about reproduction. So then you get your hormones messed up. Women will notice they have hot flashes, even if they're young. I personally experience them. Men can have hot flashes. Men will have difficulty doing their side of the job with either sperm dysmotility or struggles performing because this is not the priority right now. Making babies is something you can do when there's enough food, when you're not this stressed, right? So we don't care about our bones. We don't care about reproduction. We don't care about our heart being damaged from being pumped so fast so you can run away. Just get away, and then your heart will be able to do its job again, right? What about your hair? Hair is, that's a lot of calories it takes to make nice hair. So as part of a very stressful event, people might lose hair or have thinner hair. Or back to the hormone dysregulation, women might start having facial hair, a little bit of peach fuzz. Men might have and women might have sudden male pattern hair loss. All of these bizarre hormone changes can happen.